The car journey was the usual excitement of traffic jams and petrol stations, at least until we made it out of Greater London. Then it was pretty much plain sailing along the M4, a nice leisurely drive. The boys played travel games in the back, making names out of licence plates, that sort of thing. Anything they could find to pass the time. And soon enough, we found ourselves crossing the Severn Bridge, driving across the border into Wales. And the views there as we drove deeper and deeper into the valleys were they were just incredible. Lush green grass stretching out as far as the eye could see, rock formations, streams, lakes, waterfalls, mountains looming over us as we drove through the valleys, their snow-capped peaks wreathed in powder-white cloud, shooting high into the skies above our heads. Beautiful, breathtaking, and there was no sign of civilization. Not for miles. I mean, occasionally we might spot the odd cottage or two, nestled cosily away in the wilderness, or we might pass through a village, just a handful of houses, a tiny little community tucked away from the rest of the world, happy to make do with little more than a corner shop, some tea shops, and a public house, all fairly traditional and a far cry from our life in the city. But then, as we dipped over a hillock, I spotted a more familiar sight ahead, no more than a quarter of a mile or so away, at least according to the sat-nav. It was the school coach, broken down in a lay-by, a few of the other parents still skulking in the fields, stretching their legs. "Looks like someone needs our help," Clyde commented, as I felt my own car start to struggle and splutter beneath the wheel. I could feel it in my hands, under my feet, the whole car resisting my control. I checked the dashboard. The petrol tank was still half full. None of the hazard lights was flashing. Then, when we were just a few hundred metres away from the others, the car ground to an abrupt halt, causing us to lurch forward in our seats. I twisted the key in the ignition, but nothing happened. Then I tried a second time. Not so much as a splutter. The dashboard lights weren't flashing to tell me that something was wrong, and yet it just wouldn't work. I leapt out of the car, frustrated, the boys clambering out the back to join me. "Anything we can do to help, Mum?" Luke asked. "I wouldn't have thought so," I said, walking round to the bonnet. "Tell you what, you can take the bags over to the others if you like." "Sure thing, Sarah Jane," Clyde grinned, saluting. I watched as they hauled our luggage from the boot, carrying it off towards the coach. When I was sure no one was looking, I slipped the sonic lipstick from my pocket and gave the engine a quick little zap. But there was nothing. So I tried again, and again, and again. Hopeless.